When you ask anyone about the Renaissance, they will talk about Tuscany. The Renaissance brought artists to Florence like Leonardo and Michelangelo. But it would be a mistake to think that Tuscany is only about the Renaissance. Tuscan influence spreads across the breadth of history. In this episode, Adam visits the model Renaissance city of Pienza, then goes back further in time to the Etruscan town of Montepulciano before visiting a premium wine district. Along the way, Adam will discover a local pasta that is as enduring as Tuscany itself.
Join me on my pasta pilgrimage.
Many cities in Italy claim to be Renaissance cities, but very few are. Adam chats to Andrea, a local guide, about the purpose-built Renaissance city, Pienza.
Andrea, I wanted to know about why Pienza was built and who was behind it.
Well, Pienza was built in the 1400s in a very fast time, because basically it was built in 4 years. But behind Pienza there was a pope. That is the reason why it was possible to do so quickly. The Pope Pius II, and he was born here in the ancient village of Corsignano that he transformed into a new Renaissance town, Pienza. The name Pienza comes from the name of the Pope.
So Andrea, Renaissance, what is the meaning of Renaissance?
In a simple way, it's the Renaissance of the classical culture, the Roman and the Greek culture. Physically, it's the fact that they use the same kind of shapes they had in the Roman and Greek buildings. For example, the columns or the tympanum on top of the church, the big triangles. But then, I repeat, especially is to look for the spirit of it. Basically, if you look at the square, the 2 buildings, the Palace of the Pope, the Bishop's building, are diverging like this, so that the square seems bigger than actually it is.
So like infinity, kind of like
Infinity,
continues.
Exactly. It's the same reason why they put the well there and not in the middle, because if you put in the middle, your visual impression of the square is that actually it's smaller than actually it is.
Yeah.
The shape of the square is a trapezium, so that
the harmony continues and flows all the way through,
yes.
which is true to Pienza.
Yes, that is the point.
Very good. People that live here today, are they still living by that harmony and spirit?
I believe so. I believe so, because when you come to Pienza, the beauty of the place affects you. I mean, you are here, you feel the harmony, even unconsciously, but you feel it. And you feel relaxed, you feel in a good mood.
Exploring Pienza, Adam found that the region is known for its pecorino cheese. After the break, he tries it. In fact, lots of it, and decides for himself. Down the end of a stone-paved alley off the main street of Pienza is a cheese shop. Not just any cheese shop, it's La Taverna del Pecorino, specializing in the region's finest cheese.
Ciao.
Buonasera.
Pecorino?
Pecorino, tutto pecorino di Pienza. Questo è il tipico.
Ok, uno questo for you.
Sì. Questo è il tipico 5 mesi di stagionatura. Si chiama il vecchio Pienza.
Pepper. So it's got the peppercorns inside.
Sì.
That was really bite. Yeah, la parmigiano. It's got the crystal, so it's really bitey on the mouth.
Non è parmigiano.
Okay.
Buonissimo, molto.
So you got one with peppers, you got one with tomato, one with truffle, one with hay, riserva, and then perla.
Bravissimo. È con le vinacce.
Vinacce?
Sì, vino, uva di Brunello.
So the grapes of the Brunello on the outside.
È l'uva di anno, è chiaro.
Oh, perfect.
Questo sarà 2 kg.
2 kg. So 2 kilos this one is. Grazie.
Prego,
Ciao.
arrivederla, a presto.
Thank you. This Pecorino di Pienza is reputed to be one of the best cheeses in the whole of Italy.
After tasting the cheese, like the good chef he is, Adam wants to learn about the origins of Pecorino di Pienza. He catches up with Sandra, a very enthusiastic cheese producer.
Sandra, Pecorino di Pienza isn't what it seems.
Yeah. Pecorino di Pienza is also a brand today, but unfortunately it's not anymore what it should be. It got famous because the real Pecorino di Pienza should have been made by milk, which is coming from this area. And that's really important. Of course, you know that milk has the flavor of what an animal is eating. Also, we mothers, which when we had a baby, it's important to eat rich food, good food. So my sheep milk is changing every month the flavors because the animal is eating different flavors. Now we have a lot of puppies, it's spring.
Yeah.
Maybe in a month the puppies is over. Then we have another kind of flower. The dandelion, we have the clovers. The flavor is changing because the bacteria, we do just raw milk cheese. Maybe you know what is
raw milk. Yeah.
Means not boiled. You leave the milk how it is. And all the probiotic, which today we have to buy with yogurts because we miss it, we have it in the milk. You can feed an animal as good as you want with food which you buy, 100% equilibrated with minerals, but the cheese is like that, always the same.
So your cheese, like you mentioned, changes through the seasons, so the taste.
Yeah.
So can you tell that? Can you pick that?
Yeah, I can tell you if you have a spring cheese or summer. I know that.
How?
And the old people, which unfortunately slowly they are dying because they still come and say, do you have the marzolino? Marzo in Italiano would mean March. This is Pecorino Primo Sale. We go back to the language.
Yes.
So it's the fresh cheese, but it's even more than fresh. It's called the first salt. We don't add any gluten.
How many days is this?
About 5-6 days. You eat it with honey here, traditionally, because it was like a dessert. Cheese was after lunch.
And this one?
This one has a funny name.
Look at this.
We go back, the skin. Buccia di rospo. Rospo is a frog.
The frog,
It's
the frog skin.
The Pecorino frog skin. And it's this grey mold, is penicillin. It's what you have in the blue cheese.
Natural, yeah.
All the rinds are edible. You should eat these rinds. So this is the frog.
This one.
This is also.
That looks special.
That's the most expensive today, but came of a desperate farmers. Tuscany had the sharecrop system. Till 1960, they had to share food with a landlord. So he made his cheese, and as he was hungry by making, he hid it in the hay balls outside. That's the leftover. Maybe you don't see, these are grapes,
Yeah,
but
they're
it's the must, it's the leftover.
After they press the...
After wine. They hide it in the cold ash of the bread oven.
Very
The
clever.
landlord could not find these cheeses, even if he was looking.
Yeah.
After 5-6 months, they took out the cheese of the hidden places. The cheese ferments, the flavor of grapes, of wine, like grappa, went in the cheese, and today it's called Pecorino Ubriaco.
Ubriaco.
Ubriaco means the drunken.
The drunken
wine. The wine drunken cheese, because if you eat it, the inside has a wine flavor.
It has an amazing
and the skins
taste.
you could eat again. Yeah,
Skin
these
as
are
well.
these are the most special ones, of course.
Sandra, it's not only this amazing cheese that you produce from your farm here, you have other things going on at the farm.
We have a lot of things going on, yes. Me and my partner, we came 25 years ago to this place.
You fell in love, obviously.
Also, yes, but the idea was I wanted to make everything what I have in my plate. We are foodies. I knew about organic. I said I want to eat what I know, how it was grown. So we came here to make everything what we eat. That's why we have a farm restaurant. We have a restaurant which you eat farm to the table.
Does the local pasta date back to Etruscan times? Next, Adam goes to Montepulciano to find out. Having visited the Renaissance city of Pienza, Adam heads to Montepulciano. Francesca explains its Etruscan history.
In Montepulciano, there's the opportunity to see and to visit Etruscan tombs. Especially on the upper part of the town, those places were considered more or less like the pyramid for the Egyptians. So the Etruscan used to protect the dead. So hidden places built underneath. And it's possible to visit them, and no one never thought to destroy them because they were reused during the centuries to be more or less like refrigerators, to better preserve cheese, salami, meat, and sometimes also snow to transform it into ice. And don't forget, during the Second World War, there were good places to hide, of course. So they're really part of our history, and they are always part of the urbanistic and architectural shape of Montepulciano. There's also a palace reminding the period of the Etruscans, or better, we consider like the presentation card of Montepulciano. Walking in the main street of the town, at the very beginning of the main street, there's a building, and in its facade there are Etruscans and Roman urns containing one's ashes. And then the collector, who was a man from Montepulciano, he decided to put on the facade of his palace at the beginning of the 1600s, just to introduce the history of Montepulciano to the first European travelers. And so it was a way to say, hey, this is our origin, Etruscans, and then Roman Empire. Then we also have other food products that are connected with the farmers' traditions. I'm referring to the pasta, the pici, for example, where the influence is between the local farmers and farmers coming from the south of Italy.
As Francesca said, Montepulciano has a great history of food and wine, but I'm interested in one dish in particular, pici pasta. And just down the road at Celso Rigo, there's an entire festival dedicated to it. Louis, what do you reckon? We'll do it? Let's do it.
The festival Adam is heading to celebrates pici pasta. It is a sacred event that has been repeated for almost half a century and is the only festival where the pasta is made solely by hand.
I want you to think about that for a second. Solely made by hand. It must take them ages.
For several weeks before the festival, the women of the town begin the long and laborious process of kneading and rolling out the pici one by one.
I wouldn't be Italian if I didn't marry up a plate of pasta with a great drop of red wine.
Adam travels to the town of Montalcino to meet the descendant of Ferruccio Biondisanti, who fought under Garibaldi for Italian freedom and unification. But, as we will see, that's not all the Biondisantis are famous for. Adam meets Jacopo Biondisanti.
Jacopo, can you tell me a bit about your family and the history of the Brunello wine?
My family started to produce the Brunello wine in the 18th century. Mm-hmm. And the first bottle produced by Clemente was my great-great-great-great-great-great-father.
Great.
He invented the Brunello di Montalcino and invent also the name of the wine, because we have a piece of paper from one exhibition wine where is mentioned for the first time the name Brunello. He received 2 gold medals for his red wine, parentesi Brunello. This is 1865.
So you touched on it, the Brunello is one grape in particular, is that right?
Exactly. And now we are the only one family in the world who leave his name to a type of grapes, a particular selection of a type of grapes. Ferruccio Biondesanti, is my great-great-great-father,
Yeah.
replanted the vineyards, and the first bottle, what we have in the cellar today, is 1888.
I wouldn't mind sampling a glass of that vintage, but I'm happy to settle for whatever Jacopo offers me. Jacopo, should we try some of your amazing wine?
Allora, this is
one?
Rosso di Montalcino,
Okay.
coming from the new vineyards, 5 to 25 years old.
5
New
to 25.
BBS 11 vineyards.
Okay. I could see enjoying this wine with maybe a plate of pasta, pici.
Peaches with pecorino.
Ah, that's, yeah. So do you think maybe this one here?
And this is the Brunello Annata. And the Brunello Annata coming from the vineyards 10 to 25 years old. And is the characteristic of this vintage is the drinkability. It's very elegant.
Okay. Oh, that one there, to me, it's a beautiful complementing wine to any type of food. And then the last one?
This one is the 2010.
Oh, wow, look at the color. That's exceptional.
This one was a vintage who can arrive at 100-year bottle.
It's fantastic. You know what? I got one last question. So you said your great-great-grandfather, everyone's kept the tradition. Who takes after you? Who's next in line?
I have a son who want to have my life,
Yeah.
and
So he'll keep the tradition, the BBS 11 going. As much as I'd love to sample all of Jacopo's wines, it's time for me to get cooking in my kitchen.
After the break, Adam takes the inspiration of the Pici and makes something so elegant you could serve it at a dinner party.
I had so much fun making the pici pasta with the lovely old ladies, but you know what? It's very labor intensive. So today I'm using tubular spaghetti with anchovies, garlic, a little lemon zest, and some breadcrumbs.
For the full list of ingredients and method, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage.
To start this dish, we need to get some good olive oil into a pan, like so, and get our pasta into our salted boiling water. Pinch of salt. Move your pasta around so it's totally submerged in the boiling water and it cooks all nice and evenly. Smell the olive oil heating up. It's time to add some anchovies. Just take the anchovies, no need to chop, and break them with your fingers. I'm adding the anchovies simply for that little bit of saltiness to it. Gives that dish a little bit of oomph. Drop your heat, you don't want to burn the anchovies, you just want to infuse the flavour into the olive oil. We need to chop up some garlic. There we go. Give that a stir through. Now, some capers. By adding the capers, we're just adding a little bit of a zing and take away from the saltiness of the anchovies to balance out the whole dish. Okay, so we need to allow that to infuse for about 2 to 3 minutes. I recall Francesca telling me that unsalted bread was a big part in the Tuscan diet around Montepulciano. So I'm using some old dried bread that I've just toasted in the oven to make some breadcrumbs. Put it into a food processor and quite coarse to finish off my pasta dish. Let's have a look at our pasta. Perfect, nice and al dente, straight from the water into the pot. Get your heat up. So by using a little bit of the pasta water into your pan, the oil and water cling together and start to emulsify onto our beautiful tubular spaghetti, just like the pici pasta with that hole in the middle, jumps inside, you get all the flavour through your pasta dish. Some parsley, just roughly chopped. Into the pan, off with the heat. Now, this is my little special element to this dish, just a little bit of lemon zest. And why? Because I love that fresh, cleansing zing of lemon zest. Work that all together. And you might notice I haven't added any salt to this dish. Anchovies, capers is taking care of that, but I will add a little bit of cracked pepper. How can I forget my breadcrumbs on top? Sondra and her amazing pecorino, very seasonal, and I think that's what I need just to finish off this dish. Just a nice little bit over the top. Salty, zingy, that lovely bit of pecorino on top, the crunch from the breadcrumbs. There you have it. There's my tubular spaghetti with anchovies, capers, a little hint of lemon zest, and breadcrumbs. This week, I discovered the agelessness of Tuscany from Etruscan times through the Renaissance to the modern Italy of today. Next time, I visit Elba, where Napoleon stayed in exile for 300 days before he escaped and started his journey on the road to Waterloo.
For this episode's recipes, stories and more, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage